Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I think it's very important that, and I've talked with the chairman, and he has always continued to ask me to have an open mind on this, and I have. I think it's going to be very important to see the text of the bill to have a better understanding of what exactly is in there. Ms. Norton had spoke earlier about concerns about noise around airports. And that's a major concern that I have. I have Midway Airport in my district, O'Hare not too far away. And as the patterns flying in and out of those airports has changed in recent years, there's been a lot of constituents, excuse me, of mine who have had a lot of complaints. And we have gotten the FAA now to be more, they say they are going to do a better job of listening and paying attention to what some of these issues may be. My concern, I have great concern moving ahead, what exactly the rules are going to be in the future if we did have a ATC moved under a corporation. The chairman says that NEPA would still be would still apply, but I have concerns about what exactly is going to happen. Is the FAA, is the corporation going to propose the patterns, and then the FAA has to then have their say on that and improve them or not approve them? And that's a concern that I have. Mr. Rinaldi, I don't know if you have any, the bill that we had last year, do you know anything about what that would have done?
Well, the regulatory and certification process would have stayed within the FAA, so it would still be ultimately the FAA overseeing noise complaints and new procedures.
Would they have the authority then to? Would they just be a back and forth with the corporation over it? The corporation propose, and the FAA then have to approve, or how would that work?
Hypothetically, it's hard to answer that question right now, but I will tell you, while we're moving forward with Metroplex and PBN in many cities, it is the FAA is going out and doing joint community meetings along with the users and the stakeholders to explain what we are trying to accomplish in making the skies greener, safer, with less noise. But keep in mind, as the technology makes it to be more precise on approaches, there are certainly winners and losers when it comes to noise. That is a fact, and that is a true fact.
Yeah, obviously, my concern is that to make sure that my constituents, those who are going to be in all around the country, those who are going to be impacted by these changes, are going to be able to have a say. And right now, their say is through us here in Congress, through the FAA, and I want to make sure that that occurs. But I want to move on to another question before I run out of time. I'm concerned that some of the estimates for the timeline for a new ATC corporation are nearly a decade. We heard earlier 5 to 7 years. And my concern is about air traffic controller hiring. Will this not, will there be troubling lack of accountability and transparency as this occurs and make ATC hiring and staffing difficult, if not almost impossible to do during this transition period, Mr. Rinaldi?
One of the things we would really have to see in the bill is a very robust transition period where we still have, we would seek a stable, predictable funding stream so that we can continue to hire and accomplish the goals of the agency while it's still under control, and if it was going to a not-for-profit federally chartered company at the same time, that it would be a robust transition period in enhancing the safety of the system, at the same time continuing to hire, train, and modernize the system.
The control of the Academy for Training Air Traffic Controllers, who would have that control?
I believe in the Air Act of 2016 that was left up to the transition on who would actually still control the FAA Academy in Oklahoma City.
Okay, so that was not laid out in there. It was.
I don't believe it was.
To be determined further on. All right, thank you very much. It's something that I look forward to seeing with the bill and the details, and look forward to maybe having another hearing at that point, but I think the chairman will yield back.
I thank the gentleman